Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of War. This is episode number 14. And we got a live one. We got a full house tonight. And we're gonna get into a heavy topic. But the first things first, hit that like button, make sure you subscribe and share this video, man. We want to get this information out and we're gonna show a great show to all the people around the world, man. So let's get right into it, man. We got a full house tonight. First things first, we got So Effortless. Indigo Beejay. We got Jaye on. We got a few more other guests that's lined up and sitting on deck. And the first things first, we going into an incident in Cincinnati, Ohio, where a guy is a kid named Rodney Hinton. He was being chased down by the police, and the police officer uh, was chasing him down. The cops was chasing him down. The kid was running. This is an 18-year-old kid, and he eventually got shot and he was killed by this police officer. This was on May 1st. The police officer said he shot the kid because he noticed the kid pointed a gun at him. The footage, there is footage out there, but it's very unclear on if the kid actually did or not. But this is what court is for. But after he shot this kid, the kid dies, and after the kid dies and his father actually comes in, or the father he's mourning, and the very next day the father actually kills a deputy cop in traffic, and he allegedly did this on purpose. So he drove his car, seen a cop in the middle of the street. This is not the police officer that was accused of killing his son. He just actually seen a deputy police officer, and allegedly he killed this police officer, and now he's in jail. His son is passed, and now he's facing some critical time. Now, Jerald, um, do you feel like revenge belongs to people, and should people do things like this out of revenge? What's going on here?
No, not if I don't think so. You said he didn't even get the cop that killed his son,
Nah.
so he was just out for blood.
Yeah.
No, I don't agree. I wouldn't agree with that because at the end of the day, what did you do? You just threw everything away. You ain't even get the nigga who got your son. So, but I think it's a stupid choice at the end of the day. Like I get you furious, you want revenge, you full of rage, but to go out and just kill a cop and just throw what's left of your life away, that's a bad decision right there.
If this was the cop that actually was accused of killing him, or the cop that killed his son, do you see justification in that?
I do, but it's still a bad decision. But I do see justification in that. At least he got some because you a father, bro. If somebody did that to my son or my daughter, like I would feel. I don't think I would kill him, but I would want my revenge. I would want something, you know. I think he, at the end of the day, it's the wrong choice. But hey, it is what it is.
Um, Jay, you see justification in him, uh, what I'm saying, taking matter into his own hands and being like, you know what? All right, I'm mourning for my son. My son is gone. I can't get him back. Uh, and I need to take action.
Well, I would say it pretty much trickles down to the state of society that we live in right now. Knowing that it's still officers out here, killing people, whether race or not. I feel the cop was under a lot of pressure. Not saying it was right or wrong, but cops do have a lot of pressure being an officer. But they sign up for it. So when they come to situations like this, where it's like you took someone's life, I think it's definitely for the father. I feel like it's unjustifiable. I feel like he kind of took it too far. Like I said, it trickles down to the state of society we live in. We have to be more God's people. We have to be more into the word of Jesus and implement that, and that will help out a lot of people. But in America, it's kind of like promoted in the wrong way, where it's like these Christians and these pastors and stuff. They kind of make other pastors and preachers look bad. So it's kind of just who's in charge of what's going on right now, and that's kind of what I felt like. But would you
Yeah,
say it's justifiable? I would say no. I feel like the father is completely wrong, for doing that. But we are in America, and we do have a lot of accessibility that we know. So he kind of took advantage of that, and he did what he did, and that's how he felt. So
I like that you said because the pastors and the reverends, they is like the voice of the neighborhood. So
of the
like,
neighborhoods, right?
and the pastors and the reverends, they kind of put especially the last 40 odd years, the culture has been the primary like talking point for the pastors. It ain't really do the right. It ain't really do what Jesus do what Jesus do the right thing, do some ninth dimensional stuff, have a ninth dimensional reaction. They really don't preach that. That's really not something that they even talk about. So people, honestly, if you being the voice of the neighborhood, you don't know what to actually do. You don't know how to retaliate. What's the culture? What's the in the culture of us retaliating in these neighborhoods is, what I'm saying, we gonna do how we feel, and we feel what's justified is, what I'm saying, getting revenge. There ain't enough people out here telling us how to react. We just go off our emotions. And for this dude to like, man, for his son to be passed, like I get that. I understand. Like, okay, your son is gone. You feel me? I gotta do something. I can't just let it slide. You feel me? It's like get back. And and that's a popular thing in the culture. Somebody slide on your brother, you know what I'm saying? You gotta swing back. You gotta get it back in blood. Just, eye for an eye. In the culture, man, it's been that way. We've been talking about an eye for an eye, but BJ, do you feel like this was a justified eye
Hey, hey,
for an eye?
hey, 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 real quick.
We hear you.
Hey, real quick, man. We gotta redo this podcast, bro. I'm about to go to the gym, bro, and get some Wi-Fi, bro. You got me fucked up, bro. I need 10 minutes to pull back up. I'm not about to not get in on this podcast. I'm
No,
sorry, but we
do
gotta run
do
this
your
shit back.
thing.
I'm on
Do
my
Hey,
your
no,
way.
thing.
shoot,
Do your
bro. Yeah,
thing.
we're here for an hour, so
Bet. I'm
you got
Yeah,
time.
but we about to spin back, bro, because this shit keep lagging. This shit irritating as
100.
hell.
All right, bet. Well,
All right,
we gonna wait on BJ to lock in, but touching on the subject, man, look, I got the footage right here. We can actually
yeah, let's
look
look
at
at
the
the
footage.
footage. I don't know too much about this situation.
Yeah, me either. Like the whole time it's
Outside looking in, I feel the father is completely wrong though. But I do understand why he did what he did. We all have loved ones. We all care about our loved ones. And if that gets taken away from us, you know, as humans, we can't get out of control.
yeah.
Son was killed by police is now accused of killing a sheriff's deputy in turn. Rodney Hinton is in jail in Cincinnati after he allegedly rammed his car into this officer, identified Larry Henderson, a 33-year veteran of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, was retired, technically picked up a shift as a traffic cop for a day. It didn't turn out well. Henderson was not involved in Hinton's son's death. Tom Hansen's been following this tragic story, and we do warn you, as you may imagine, some of the footage here you're going to see is graphic.
He's got a gun. He's got a gun on your right. On your right. He's got a gun.
2 hours after watching this body cam video of officers shooting and killing 18-year-old Ryan Hinton after a police chase, officials say his father, Rodney Hinton, got into his car and purposefully drove into a sheriff's deputy directing traffic on graduation day near the University of Cincinnati, killing him.
He was so well liked and so well known. We are so deeply saddened.
Sheriff's deputies packed a courtroom Saturday as Rodney Hinton was charged with aggravated murder. They were there in support of the fallen deputy, now identified as Larry Henderson.
I understand there's a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in this room right now.
The day before, Cincinnati police say they got a report of a stolen vehicle at this condominium complex. When officers arrived, 4 men suspected in the theft got out of the vehicle and fled. One of the men was Ryan Hinton. He was shot twice and killed by a police officer who says he pointed a gun at him.
and he felt threatened for his life, and that's why he discharged his
Mm.
firearm.
Never.
Investigators say they recovered this loaded gun from the scene allegedly found in Hinton's possession. Lawyers for the family say the next day, Rodney Hinton appeared distraught watching the body cam footage with police.
I ain't doing no faking. Never. They wasn't supposed to shoot that man. They wasn't supposed to shoot that young man.
Yeah, they absolutely wrong for that.
They never, and they
18
use
years
and they
old,
use
know
the
what an
go-to
18-year-old is like.
and they use their go-to excuse.
Yeah,
Like,
you
he
know
put
that is
He felt
look,
threatened for my life. I felt threatened
that's
for my
cap.
life.
Yeah,
Cap.
exactly.
That's
their number
cap.
one.
Like that whole first of all, the cop behind him put the battery in his back. He got a gun. He got a gun. He got it. And as soon as the cop seen him, it triggered him. Like, what? He got a gun. And then bro was like, oh snap, he got a gun. Man, that man wasn't even even looking in his direction. He was trying to
And
run
he's
straight.
running away. I mean he's not shooting or pointing at nobody, so he's trying to run. So
He's running.
Think about it. How do you fear for your life when you the one that's chasing after the person?
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
I mean, now it
You
can't.
don't
Now
fear
in
for your
certain
life.
circumstances, you can be put in a position to where it's like, all right, let me.
Now, if he turned around with the gun in his hand, then you can say you fear for your life. But if you chasing him down, you don't fear for your life.
exactly. Then you got
It's common
3 or 4
sense.
people with you. You know, all of y'all
Right.
are armed. You got backup, so it's crazy.
Now, could he have popped him in that scenario? Of course, it's possible, but now that the killing of I say his name was Rodney, his name was Ryan. The killing of Ryan was definitely not justified. But it's like, man, now I'm gonna hold him accountable because he put himself in that situation. But the cop did not have to use deadly force for a man that was running. But I think it only happened because bruh behind him said he put the battery in his back and said, "Oh, he's got a gun, he's got a gun, he's got a gun." Like you forced him you scared the deputy that shot him. Like
Yeah, bad judgment call for sure.
that was uncalled
Right.
for.
Ryan Hinton. He was shot twice and killed by a police officer who says he pointed a gun at him.
Not even
And he
looking.
felt threatened
Not
for
even
his life,
looking
and
at
that's
him.
why he discharged his firearm.
That's so
Right.
wrong, man.
So now you looking at this. He facing forward. So if you looking at this, imagine what the father thinking right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Imagine what's going through his head.
And he know his son too. He like, oh, he trying to run away.
He's furious right now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
That's
would say the father is absolutely wrong though, but I 100% understand why he did what he did. You know, that's messed up, man. To lose a son at a young age, 18 years old. You know, by a police officer, knowing this is what they do, they keep doing this, and man, people tired of it. You know, and I 100% understand why he did what he did. You know, so it was wrong, but you know, now
Yeah,
he threw
because
his life away.
and it's just I just feel bad for all of the families involved, but for the one that killed the deputy, the random officer, that was just like it was low, but it wasn't gonna bring you anything. Your son isn't coming back, and then you took
Right.
you took the life of a family of an innocent man. The cop was innocent that he killed. And although you probably feel justified, bruh, you kind of made your family's life worse because all you just lost your son. Y'all ain't even buried your son. Like, and now you not even there to help with the funeral arrangement. And regardless of that part, but your wife and kids, if he has a wife and children, if he has other children, he put them in a vulnerable state because now they lost their father. And he's probably not coming back home.
Nah, it's over with.
Yeah, it's like you gained nothing, you lost everything, and you already lost your son. And I just feel like it was very irresponsible. But it's that example of being led by the flesh. Like you so in your emotion, you such in a deep emotional state. You just like, man, whatever it is, what it is. But it's like you being a crash out like that don't lead to nothing but more agony. Like, what you think this come after this?
It's kind of why the family has to go back to like the real man going out there doing his job and the woman staying home and taking care of the kids. Because as you see, it's like his raising and why why is he why does he have a gun? You know what I'm saying? Why is he doing what he's doing? Not saying that's why he got killed or anything, but like, you know, if his dad was probably more not trying to judge, because I don't know what's going on, but like, you know,
If
his
they was
dad
on
was
point,
kind of
y'all see
more
what you're saying.
supportive. Yeah, if his
Yeah.
dad was more supportive with him, you know, he probably wouldn't have got into that situation where he's running from the cop. You know what I'm saying?
So do you think he feel guilty?
This is I wouldn't say guilty, but this is karma for sure. Like, you know, of like his raising, you know, like
Yeah, I wonder if he's sitting there like taking accountability as a father. Like,
yeah, like why did
I
my
put
son
my
have to
son, yeah, why was my son in a stolen vehicle? Why would my son be carrying a firearm in a stolen vehicle?
That's where we at in this time, man.
yeah.
Is
It,
and
it trickles down to the society and the community of the state of America we in right now. Like, you know, the churches, you know.
But you
We
got to think
all
how much of that
right?
got to do with social media?
I would say, like, let's say we all got a grandma or auntie who's all about church, who's all about religion. You know what I mean? Like, we all know somebody who's serious about religion. A woman, not even a man. We all know a woman who's serious about church. So I feel like we all look up to our mothers. We all was raised by our mothers. So it's like when it comes to a woman preaching church, we gotta respect that. We gotta respect that. Like, this is the woman who raised us. You feel me? This auntie. You feel me? This grandma. So it's like when that word being brought down to the family and to the household, a lot of these churches ain't you know they don't preach the what's really need to be preached. You know what I mean? And that kind of manipulates the household through the woman or the grandmother or the auntie. You feel me? Giving you some game, but really giving you false game. You know what I mean? This is
yeah,
like that's where I feel like it kind of trickles down to the father. You know, the father kind of had those traits too. You know, but the game is not being taught the right way. That's kind of why I kind of brought that. You
it's
know.
like ignorance in these societies and these communities. They're ignorant to the rules. Like they're ignorant to because as a man that's trying to protect himself, if I was to lose my son like that, as a man that's trying to protect myself, trying to protect my family, I me personally wouldn't have retaliated like this. But it's like when your flesh take over, I'm capable of doing what he did. I'm not saying I will never do this. Nah, we're all capable of
Yeah, we're all God. We
like
all have
like
the same consciousness. We
yeah.
all got the same power and ability to think,
I don't think a
feel, see, and
person,
hear.
yeah, I don't think there's a person on this earth that's exempt from doing what Jeffrey Dahmer did. Like I think we all capable of getting in that position if we in the right emotional or wrong emotional state. And so I won't say that I wouldn't do it, but me
I
personally,
ain't doing
like
no shit like that.
I don't think I just think you can't think it's impossible because you have to understand the energy of the flesh. The energy of the flesh will lead you to do things that you think you would never do. Like when we was growing up as kids, we said the same thing. I'm not gonna do that when I get older. I'm not gonna be like that. I'm not gonna do that. And you get older and you end up doing exactly the same things you said you wouldn't do. So it's cool to have an idea that yeah, I'm not, or I won't do that. But until your flesh is tested, you feel me? You never know. It did one thing could lead to another, and now we got two families like completely broken right now. That could be repaired, but distraught because we had a situation like this. And it's sad and unfortunate, but hey, what can you do? But man, yeah, that's that topic. But man, let's look at we gotta look at this. We gotta look at the the overtime of this game, bruh.
Ooh, I
What?
wish I could talk about it, man. My time is up, though, man. I appreciate you. You know, I'm about to log out. You know, I
Okay.
will be back on the pod for sure. My debut was here, finished. You know, shout out to the Cleveland Cavaliers. You feel me?
We
Yeah.
about to lock in on it and look, watch his OT. Appreciate you, Jay.
Sir.
Yes, sir. All right, bet. You seen this, Jerald?
Yeah, I seen it.
Man, hold on. What's up with I gotta see what happened. You said they went
You gotta let him go. Weidel inbound.
100.
It's off to Tatum. The
Oh,
defense
okay.
was there. We have got overtime in game 1.
Man, how do they miss? You said they missed 53s?
35.
Oh, 35.
There was some crazy
I'm
shit.
gonna
I think
push
there was like
this.
15 for 50.
I'm gonna push this up.
2.5 in overtime. It goes to Ananobi.
That's a walk.
Tatum is there. In the corner, Beejay.
Kale.
Bullseye. It's a 6-point New York lead in overtime. And it's been all Mikal Bridges in overtime. His defense
Not all.
at one end and a big
You think
three
New York?
right
Oh, you think New York can get him?
up 6.
As far as the series, no, New York ain't winning the series.
White throws inside. Tatum
They might get 2 off of them.
How does Kristaps Porzingis come in and leave? Like, I'm lost. Talk about some illness. They say he got sick. What, he threw up or something? Was he drunk last night?
Brunson will make a move. On the fly, another miss.
Man, give me New York.
Towns chips it in.
They did this in the Garden.
Towns with 14 points.
They did this in the Garden.
Lead for the Knicks. It's Holiday and Horford and Tatum. Towns and Tatum. Tatum makes the move. Out to Brown. Horford in the corner. Step back 3. No.
Right, you would have thought at some point in time they'd have been like, hey, step in.
That's his only 3 of the game right there out of 10.
45 missed threes.
45 missed
Only
threes.
get another one to go to make this a 1-possession game. Here comes Brunson. Approaching a minute to go in overtime.
I hear people chanting, but I don't believe in that crowd. They standing still.
Nigga stunned.
Yeah, they stunned. Bruh, New York on the map. Oh. Oh.
Brunson down the middle. The trailing Hart holding it right here. Take some time off the clock here. I would make this almost a 1-4. Let Brunson go one-on-one. It's Brunson, the bump into Holiday. Now to Hart, shot clock at 2.
Chip the Ripper.
Off,
Mm.
White.
How they smoke this?
Down by 3. Might want to take a foul.
Tatum.
Here comes Tatum. Tatum will dance and feed. Ball deflected.
He gave it up.
Oh, yeah. No. That's a bad foul there. He was in possession of a 3. Oh, no shot.
Oh.
Mitchell Robinson will be on the ball. White will inbound. It's off to
Smokey
Brown.
Robinson.
They hold it. They trample. It's over. The Knicks have won. What a comeback.
You know Boston Saudi. You know Boston Saudi.
New York.
Oh my God. Man, who you got, huh? Let's look at this bracket. Let's look at this bracket before we move on. Let's look at this bracket before we move on. So we go move, man. All these damn ads, bro. That's all it is. Ads everywhere. Minnesota, Golden State. Let's just mark it now, man. Who you got, man? Thunder, Nuggets.
Thunder.
I got the. Give me the Thunder. Give me the Thunder. Minnesota, Golden State.
Minnesota.
Give me Golden State. I like Golden State. Indy Cavs. Darius Garland is still out
Cavs.
with a toe injury.
Cavs.
If Darius Garland out for game 2, what that look like
Are we winning games too?
without Darius Garland?
Yeah.
Okay.
He
Right
had an
back in the
illness,
building.
or was it a toe? Was it a toe?
Hey, hold up. Shout out to the
Toe,
team, man. Listen,
toe was it was his toe.
sorry to interrupt you. Oh.
Go ahead, bro.
A big shout out to the pod. You feel me? You all did a phenomenal job breaking the subjects down.
We dubbing back to that.
Moving. Hold on, real quick. Just moving inside of my new apartment. We got Wi-Fi on the way, but we passionate about making sure y'all get this information. So I had to pull up to get the Wi-Fi real quick. We're gonna keep this shit moving, y'all.
Yes, sir. We're gonna do these. We're gonna predict on camera. You feel me? So we can dub back to this. But give me the Cavs. Give me Boston, and then that'll be my final 4. Beejay, you might as well. I know you ain't really hip for real, but and you said you got Boston, Jerald?
Yeah, I got Boston.
Okay, go ahead, Beejay. Drop your predictions. We're gonna bounce back. We're gonna bounce back and touch back on that subject.
We definitely gonna rock with to keep it 100, y'all know I ain't big on sports. I want to see the Cavs make it. I don't really give a fuck about the other teams. I want the Cavs to take it. You feel me? That's my city. That's where I'm from. And then a lot of naysayers said we can't do without LeBron. So it's good to see the Cavs lock in.
Did you know we was the number 1 team in the East?
Say what now?
Did you know we was the number 1 team in the East?
I'm not surprised because I think we still got the best record, right?
Yes, sir. Was it playoffs now?
Okay. You're number 1 team in the East, man. We're doing a phenomenal job. It's a lot of naysayers, especially when it comes to the Cavs. And I feel like as though we're proving them wrong by showing we can be persistent and consistent and perform well on that court.
I want your take on this incident that happened in Dayton.
Okay.
Tragic story out of Ohio.
Were you able to catch the video footage of what happened?
Not entirely. I've seen little clips on social media, but I never got a chance to really sit down, lock in, and really get to it. But when I was at the crib, I was. This is one of the subjects that I did want to kind of see more of.
Okay, we're gonna run it up then. We're gonna let you see. I want to hear your opinion on this.
Was killed by police, is now accused of killing a sheriff's deputy in turn. Rodney Hinton is in jail in Cincinnati after he allegedly rammed his car into this officer, identified as Deputy Larry Henderson, a 33-year veteran of the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, was retired, technically picked up a shift as a traffic cop for a day. It didn't turn out well. Henderson was not involved in Hinton's son's death. Tom Hansen's been following this tragic story, and we do warn you, as you may imagine, some of the footage here you're going to see is graphic.
He's got a gun. He's got a gun on your right. On your right. He's got a gun.
2 hours after watching this body cam video of officers shooting and killing 18-year-old Ryan Hinton after a police chase, officials say his father, Rodney Hinton, got into his car and purposefully drove into a sheriff's deputy directing traffic on graduation day near the University of Cincinnati, killing him.
He was so well liked and so well known. We are so deeply saddened.
Sheriff's deputies packed a courtroom Saturday as Rodney Hinton was charged with aggravated murder. They were there in support of the fallen deputy, now identified as Larry Henderson.
I understand that there is a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in this room right now.
The day before, Cincinnati police say they got a report of a stolen vehicle at this condominium complex. When officers arrived, 4 men suspected in the theft got out of the vehicle and fled. One of the men was Ryan Hinton. He was shot twice and killed by a police officer who says he pointed a gun at him.
And he felt threatened for his life, and that's why he discharged his firearm.
Investigators say they recovered this loaded gun from the scene, allegedly found in Hinton's possession. Lawyers for the family say the next day, Rodney Hinton appeared distraught watching the body cam footage with police.
Man.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot that I want to. Oh, go ahead.
That motherfucker ain't even say stop or freeze or anything. He just fired.
Yeah. It's a lot that I do want to say. It's a lot of emotions going on. But I did hear the lady say that the sheriff was a well-liked guy, well-known guy.
Well, see,
But
no,
what
let me
about
give you some
Rodney Hinton's
context.
son? I'm
Let me give
pretty
you some
sure.
context. Let me give you some context. The
No,
cat,
let
the
me,
cop,
yeah, oh yeah, I'm gonna get to it for damn show. You know I'm
no,
gonna
the
get to
cop,
it.
the cop that was hit and struck by the father had nothing to do with it.
You said the what now?
The police officer that was killed and struck by the deputy that I don't know if he was a deputy, but the cop
That's
that
the
it
guy
got
that shot the son, right?
no, that's not. He had nothing to do with the incident. He was just a cop, and the father was just seeking revenge. So he was just looking for the first cop that he
Are
could
you
kill, I
sure? Because
guess.
they said I'm not.
Yeah, positive.
You sure? Because I
Yeah,
was seeing. I heard that it was the actual guy that killed the son.
no, it wasn't.
Okay. Damn. Now I'm having mixed emotions about it.
But
Um.
let me just ask you this: Do you now?
Damn.
First
Because
things
what I
first.
was.
Do you feel like the innocent cop was that justified?
No, not the innocent cop. I'm
Now,
not gonna
okay, cool.
as emotional as I am about this situation. That innocent cop did not deserve to die because we don't know that cop's heart. We don't know that cop's personalities, characteristics. Had that cop that got killed by Rodney Hinton, had he been a guy that was chasing Ryan, I don't know that cop, but maybe he wouldn't have shot his son. Maybe he would have been a guy to say, hey, stop, you know what I mean? Or try to rectify the situation in a much better manner. And for Rodney to go kill him, I think that I don't think it was justified. Now, what I will say, if Rodney would have killed the guy that killed his son, for damn sure it would have been justified, 100%. But I don't think the innocent sheriff, you know what I mean? I don't think he should have had his life taken for a situation that he had nothing to do with. You know what I mean? Because it is some good cops out there. I'm not about to sit up here and say all cops are bad. It is some great cops out there. And the guy that got killed, who had nothing to do with it, could have been one of those good cops. So it is unfortunate that that cop was killed on behalf of negligence of his fellow officers. Now, what I will say is those officers should band together and fire the fuck out of the guy that killed Ryan Hinton. You know what I mean? I think it should be outrage within the police department against the guy who killed Ryan Hinton. But I can't understand the father's pain. You know what I mean? We living in a time where a lot of blacks have been killed by officers and never got justice for it. You know, the list goes on and on and on and on and on and on. We can name all of these guys and these women who were unjustly killed by white cops. So I think that's where the rage came from. I think it was more so of not only my son was killed unjustly, but I'm doing this for all blacks who were unjustly killed by officers. I think that's where his rage came from. But I think it should have been directed towards the person who had something to do with it.
What you about to say, Jerald? Oh, okay.
They not about to fire that cop. They not about to
I know
get
they
together or fire that cop. He about to grab. He's about to. They fuck around and get that man a raise.
No way.
Like
What he say?
not no raise.
Okay,
Not
so
no raise. But
from the footage, it just didn't make sense to shoot that kid because I just like I told them earlier, the cop that was behind him put a battery in his back. The cop that was behind him was like, he's got a gun, and then the officer just listened to his buddy and said, okay, if he got a gun, then let me pull my weapon out. And the guy pulls his weapon out and he proceeds to shoot Ryan. But I don't feel like the shooting was justified at all because these guys were just sitting in a stolen vehicle. They were just sitting in the vehicle. It was stolen. They were sitting in the vehicle. The cops pull up, and these guys scatter. And no way, shape, or form could this police officer say, I was in fear for my life chasing people that was suspected of a stolen vehicle. These aren't violent criminals. Nobody told you they shot or hurt anybody. Nobody was harmed previously. You suspected him of stealing a car. There's no justification into stealing or into shooting Ryan and the cop behind him said he's got a gun. Now I am curious to know why did how did he see a gun? Was he running one and one was in his hand?
And my thing is this: even if he did have a gun, is he pointing it at you? Is he trying to harm you?
Allegation.
Or is he running with the gun to get up out of the situation because maybe he's a felon and shouldn't have a gun? So I'm trying to hurry up and get as far away as I can to throw the gun or disperse of it, whatever the situation might be. And I don't like how that bitch, excuse my language, I'm so sorry. I don't like how that woman stood up there and said that the guy was a threat. He had a loaded weapon. You feel me? And this is what I don't like about police.
She was just commenting
listen.
what he said.
This is she said that's what he said.
She was commenting that he said he was in fear for his life. That was her stand.
It sounded like she was agreeing with that statement. Like,
no, she was just saying what she was. She was just saying what he
said. Either way,
said.
I don't like that. I don't like that these cops don't hold other cops accountable when they wrong, flat out. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he was wrong, and at the end of the day, black folks have to understand they looking for a reason to shoot you, especially as a black man. Not all cops, but you do have those cops in uniforms that want any reason to take your life. So let's say let's say you a black man, right? And the officer stops you in traffic. As a black man, your best bet is to do everything that officer tells you to do. If he say put your hands on the steering wheel, put it on the steering wheel. The minute you be like, oh, why I gotta put my hands on the steering wheel, you giving that officer a reason to act in a way that could potentially end your life. It's fucked up. It's messed up that we gotta move like that. But at the end of the day, we gotta be very mindful and cautious when we dealing with, law enforcement. But it's sad to see that. It's sad to hear that that young black man had his life taken. The father was hurting. You know what I mean? That's his son. That's another part of him. That's his DNA. So I do understand the frustration. However, that anger, like I said, should have been directed towards the cop who had something to do with it. If you would have directed that to the cop, whole time I thought that's what it was. But if you would have directed that to the cop that had something to do with it, 100% I would understand. 100% I would feel no remorse for that situation. But the officer had nothing to do with it. I do feel some remorse for it because he got a family. You know what I mean? He got kids and shit like that. And he didn't deserve that, man. He didn't deserve it, flat out.
What you gonna say, Jerald?
You got to think, bro. They call themselves brothers in arms for a reason. Like all cops gonna stick together. Like now that his father then ran down some random cop, now them cops don't give a damn. They probably like, oh yeah, now we definitely don't care. You know what I'm saying? Even if the cop is in the wrong, the other cops, they don't care now. His father then killed one of they brothers. That's how they looking at it.
Yeah,
like,
and that's why
they partnership so like solid. Like, nigga, do you know if you kill they dog, that's like killing one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So they don't give a fuck now.
And that's why I said, like, I can understand Rodney's standpoint. You kill one of mine, I'm gonna kill one of yours. But I wouldn't even feel right. Like, I gotta get the person who did that directly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gotta be directly because the officer that killed Ryan, he probably don't even fuck with the sheriff that got ran over. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta feel it. You feel me? And even if I'm not gonna get you, I'm gonna get somebody that I know that's close to you. I'm not about to just get a random cop on the police stuff. I'm gonna get the guy that was actually close to you. Thinking how you thinking, feeling how you feeling. Not saying that I would do something like that, but based on the situation for what it is, that's how I would go about the situation. You feel me? If I was Rodney, feeling those emotions, feeling that anger, and I wanted to get back, and I wanted to make them feel that retaliation, it would be as spot on as possible. If I'm not about to get you directly, I'm gonna get your best buddy, your best friend on that police department. You know, I'm not gonna get no random cop. If I can't get you, I'm gonna get your best buddy on that police department. Thinking like him. Not saying that I encourage that type of stuff, but I'm just saying in the mind frame of Rodney's situation.
Yeah, it's crazy that this keeps happening, but do you think this is a lone incident? Like, because for me, I think this is all personalities and people fighting against their situation that's in front of them. I don't think we have a culture of people hating cops or or the cops hating blacks. I do, but there is a sense uh negligence. If I'm saying that right,
No, you right. Yeah, negligence. Yep.
there's a sense of negligence from the officer's perspective because what's a gun, right? A gun, everybody has a gun. Everybody has the right to have a gun. We all have our rights. It's the Second Amendment. It's the right to bear arms. Just because you see a weapon doesn't mean there's a threat. But the fact that he has the persona or the avatar of a person that's perceived to be a threat, young black man, his pants probably wasn't up, probably had the hood, probably had a hood, probably just had the wrong attire on. Because if this guy was, if he had a pair, if he had some overalls on and a straw hat, and he was a black man, I don't think this man gets shot. But since he had this uniform on, that's the common wear of a person that's all on TV, that's the perceived thug, so to speak. It gives more of a buffer for the cop to be like, oh, my life is at stake. This guy could shoot me. But in reality, men or young black men, it's not like we young black men target police officers and shoot them all the time. That's not like a common theme. So to even think y'all pulled up to on a scene to a person to people that were suspected of stealing a car. Y'all didn't pull up on people that were suspected of hurting or harming anybody. So I don't see the justification into shooting the kid. And
I'm
it's
just
bad.
mad he
It's
ain't
bad
get
on
the
both
actual
sides.
officer, man. Whole time I'm
If
thinking he got the actual officer. I was hoping he got
This
the
nigga want
actual
revenge.
officer.
all
And I
right,
don't
right.
condone violence, but at the
Question.
end of the day, man, that's
Yeah,
his son.
If that kid white, do he get shot?
yeah.
No, no,
If he has that attire on, I think
no.
so.
And I disagree with the entire part as well.
I think
Now,
it I, because
now
I
hold on, hold on,
because
hold on.
look, this is
Let
why I
me
say that.
explain.
This
No,
is
let me
why I say
explain.
that.
No, let me
Hold on,
explain. Because
before you
I
go there,
know. Let me
if you look at the footage, right? He
right.
didn't even have time to. He didn't have time to even see the skin tone. His gun was already drawn. If we look at the footage here, his gun is drawn before
by a
he's seen him.
police officer who
Which me
Look, he doesn't see him at this point.
right, right.
He doesn't see him at this point.
said
He still doesn't see him at this point.
And his
I ain't
gun
saying
is
he
the
don't know if he black or not. You still don't see him. His gun is out as soon as he pulls out. So this isn't. I don't think color can't have much to do with it, but he does have. You feel
Like, yeah,
me?
I think you see if he black or not right there.
No, you
so this is
definitely. He definitely
Like,
does.
you
But
would know.
he's wearing all black though. He does have the attire
I
of
disagree.
a thug, and
So
he does,
this
and
was
that's
in Dayton, Ohio, Cincinnati, Ohio. What was
this
this?
is yeah, Southwest Cincinnati.
Okay, so Cincinnati, Ohio. 9 times out of 10 in that area, they probably get calls every, periodically in regards to maybe some cars getting broken into, cars getting stolen, and we know the demographic of the people that's probably committing those crimes, which is probably young black men and things like that. So despite him having on some overalls, a suit, whatever the situation might be, when that officer got that phone call and that
There was
dispatch,
no threat.
no,
It was
listen,
just a
listen, listen,
stolen
listen, listen,
car.
listen. Let me say my point. When they got that phone call and when they got that dispatch, it's a car getting stolen. We got three males. Brother, I believe they probably said black males. We never heard the call in. But 9 times out of 10, the description was black males. If it wasn't a description, it was presumed to be black males. They knew they weren't about to pull up and see white males in a stolen vehicle. They knew they was going to pull up and see a black male or multiple black males.
The
Now,
cop
despite
didn't
him
have
getting
his
out that car and
gun
seeing him
drawn.
wear a certain attire, he would have shot him, period. Overalls, suit, it doesn't matter. I
This is
know
why I'm gonna
for a
push
fact
back
that
on
when I
that.
pull up on the scene, it's going to be black males and I'm going to shoot. He was already premeditated.
I'm
And
gonna
like you
push
said
back
in
on
that
that because
video,
it is.
before he even seen him, he had his gun out.
No,
He
he
shot him.
didn't. So this is so he pulled his gun out after the other cop put the battery in his back. This is why I pushed back on that, because they wasn't running after them with guns drawn. It wasn't until the cop behind him told him he has a gun, that's when the deputy proceeded to pull out his weapon. That's what I'm telling you. If a cop just told you
So
that,
was it the
I don't
attire
think
or
you.
was it the attire or the fact that the other cop said he had a gun as
I
to why he
think
shot him?
I think the attire plays a role, but I think more so of the battery that was placed in his back when he said he has a gun, and he said it multiple times, and he was trying to like, and all he hears is he has a gun. What is that cop thinking? You feel me? Why is the cop behind me telling me that he has a gun? For what? Why are you telling me this? There you go, right there. That's the first installation of I'm in fear for my life. Because you tell him he has a gun, you scaring me now. Now you scaring me into thinking that he's gonna do something with this weapon. You didn't. So it's more. It's more so of that. It's more so if he got a gun, he got a gun. That's already gonna scare me. Like, hold on, what you mean he got a gun? And when he seen him, he didn't give it a second. He went instantly into, oh snap, he just told me he had a gun. So that means there's a threat. Remember, they just chasing them because they got a call and said there's a stolen vehicle over here in Southgate Apartments.
Mm-hmm.
And
where did he get shot at?
He got hit.
He got shot?
He got hit twice.
Where?
But the Ryan Hinton was shot and killed a day earlier. Let me look it up. Shot in the head, Cincinnati.
Because if he get shot twice in the back, we know he was running away from him, obviously.
Let's see. He was shot? He was shot in the chest and once in the arm. The one in the chest is the one that killed him.
So he is probably sideways or facing. Okay.
But it was just the incident began when officers responded to a report of a stolen Kia. As they approached the vehicle, 4 individuals fled. Police say that Ryan was armed with a semi-automatic pistol and pointed it at an officer during the chase. Pointed it at what officer and why didn't he shoot? And this is my issue. You can't use the whole he pointed the gun. He never pulled a weapon or he never fired the weapon. But I do wonder, how did they know he had a pistol?
I mean, from the looks at the gun, I think it was an extended clip on it. You know, an extended clip can make a gun look larger than what it actually is. So, you know, they could have seen it on his hip. You know, they could have seen the gun, but what they didn't see was their lives in danger. They didn't see the gun being pointed at them. It wasn't a threat like that. You feel me? And there's no excuses. Whether y'all seen a gun on them or not, you all are trained to properly assess situations like that. Flat out.
They honestly thought bro was like who James Bond couldn't shoot nobody like that through. You just ran through the dumps. You thought he was going. You thought he was gonna hit you with that. Like he won. Like so. I don't feel like the shooting of the young man was justified. Definitely. And just like and that's probably what the father was like. The father probably put in his head like, look, that wasn't justified. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do something that isn't justified, and I'm gonna kill one of your fellow officers. But that's the like I said, that's the mindset of a fool, because you didn't kill the officer's family member. Not saying you supposed to do this. I don't want to get nobody no clues. I wouldn't say that though. But
I said that's the mindset of a man who's seen it. I mean, he's a 38-year-old guy. I mean, come on. We've seen this time after time. Trayvon Martin, you know, Corin Gaines, all of these black men.
Did he lose a coworker?
Huh?
I guess he lost a coworker. Okay. That's not really revenge. You feel me? That's not revenge.
You got to think. To some people,
the best get back would have been an officer that killed my son. Because I'm in jail, and the nigga who killed excuse my language, and the officer who killed my son is out. I'm in jail for killing a dude who ain't do.
That can't sit right with you.
Okay, I ain't. That's just me personally.
That can't sit right.
That's like my family. If somebody harm my family, I'm not gonna go get the person. If I'm gonna get the, let's say somebody harm, my mom or something like that. You feel me? My goal would be to get the guy who got my mama. Now, if I can't get him, I'm not about to go get his coworker or one of his friends, or I'm gonna go get his mama, somebody that's close to him. So my point is, if I can't get the person who did, I'm gonna get somebody just as close. So if he wasn't able to get the actual cop, he should have got somebody that's a family member or somebody that's close to him on the force. A random cop, that's just, I understand though. I understand his frustration, but it should have been somebody close or the exact person himself.
Bruh, at the end of the day, bro, that badge holds too much power. Like, it holds way too much power, bro. It's the badge. When the badge is a license to kill. Let's put it like that. That's the perfect way to phrase it. Is a license to kill. That's all it is, bro. That badge holds too much power. And no matter how much training these niggas got, they don't use it. Because when you in the field at that moment, you only thinking about your life. You ain't thinking about, oh, I got a taser, I got a baton, let me freeze, stop, put the gun down. All this other shit that you're taught to do goes out the window. And at the end of the day, you justified because you got that badge.
Yeah, so he can make the excuse now like that he was in fear for his life, but now I agree that the badge is a little over the top on power, right? What you about to say?
You know how I just thought of some crazy shit. How we can probably get back at them when we have these shootings, right? How about these lawsuits? Because if you guys know, the state pay for the lawsuits.
Yeah.
That's how they get their money, is from the state. How about those lawsuits come out of the police pension? If you take that shit out their pension, I guarantee you they change that shit. I guarantee you it's some new rules they got going through there.
That's what I was gonna touch on, because there isn't a, like, what's the conflict of interest when these things happen for the police officer's sake? Like, what do they lose at the end of the day? Now, I do think like there should be some kind of justice served on officers making these errors, but that goes completely on the judicial system. So is it more so of the police officers? Because police officers can make mistakes. They're human. They're just like me and you. But the thing is, when they make mistakes, can they, you know what I'm saying? Is it justified? Not justified. Can they have they just need some kind of special penalty. I think they need a higher, a heavier penalty, because otherwise it won't be, you know what I'm saying? They will be more careful into harming or killing folks, even if it was a mistake. Like, they still be more careful. And I think you got to be harsher when they make these kind of mistakes. But the first things first, you got to be able to hold them accountable and let them know that it was a mistake. But the problem is the judicial system don't really acknowledge it as a mistake. They acknowledge it like, well, it was justified because he said he was in fear for his life. And I don't think you could just use that every single time, and because they do use that, and I think 9 times out of 10 they get away with it.
I think the penalty that they do now is they be suing. That's what people do. They sue. You kill my son, I'm suing you, or whatnot.
Yeah.
That's what they do. But the problem, that money comes from the state. It don't come from the union, the police union. So what do the police got to worry about? Like, what? Okay,
yeah, they don't lose.
We ain't got, take that shit out they pension. Like, hurt they pocket. The best way to get back at anybody is through their pockets. The police union, bro, is bulletproof. They stick together. That shit, I think, is one of the most corrupt things next to the fucking, what am I thinking about? NRA, National Rifle Association. But the police union, bro.
You don't see the I mean, you see the benefits of the police, right? Would they lose could they lose some of the benefits that the police serve the people with? Because the police is good for communities. So do they lose some of that good when you do you know what I'm saying, try to put them in these, well, are you saying put it on the union, or you say put it on or hold the officer
That
accountable?
the union, it trickles down from the top. Put it on the union. The union gonna realize they see this money. All right, we had this. Now we got this. All right, we not gonna be able to do this for you because we getting sued. We getting sued. When you see that money drop, that's gonna click in your mind. Like, all right, we got to make some changes.
Wouldn't it have to be a common it had to be a common theme though, right? Because this would have to be something that happens often. This isn't something that happens often.
This do happen often. Not this situation where the guy killed his father, but unarmed black kids dying by cops.
That's not common.
It happens. It happens.
Common?
Not every day. Common.
Not even every day. Like even every month.
What you think? Like,
but this kid
once a
wasn't
year?
unarmed. I think so. I mean, make a quota. I feel like if this is happening 5 times a month, and then depending on the state, that depends on the state. If your state is going through this, I think it's different. I think if your state is going through 5 unarmed killings a month, I don't see how crazy. I don't deem that as crazy. But if it's going through like 10, then I think you should look into it. Damn, it's 10 people getting killed by police officers unarmed. That's kind of over. I think that's something we need to look into and then build something off of that. But if it isn't happening often, that means it isn't really a problem. And if it isn't really a problem, it ain't really something we need to focus on. These is things that randomly happen. That's like the whole school shooter thing. You can't really do nothing about school shooters because it's not a common thing. It ain't like it happens all of the time. So if it doesn't happen all of the time, and then when you penalize the police and you try to put them in these positions to where we want to penalize them, we don't want to. We can. I love penalties for people that make mistakes, but what I don't want to do is I don't want to put the police officers at a position to where they feel afraid to do their jobs, or being able to be beneficial to the
But this
community.
is the thing,
Because
though.
at the end of the day, the
That
police
can be
officers,
prevented, man.
they are kind of important.
The police are important, and the police can do their jobs without having to worry about retaliation or getting hurt. I think this situation can be rectified by the police or any type of involvement with law enforcement when they discipline and when they put repercussions on stuff like the Ryan Hinton situation. Now, police be like, okay, we can clearly see that you were in the wrong. You shot this black man who did not oppose a deadly threat to you. We go fire you. We go put you in prison. If they start doing stuff like that, then guess what? The racist cops, when they get on the police department, they're gonna be like, I can't even be playing around like that, man, because every time somebody has done something unjustly to a black person, they've had consequences behind it. Like I said, whether it be prison, whether it be termination, getting there, you can't become a police officer again, and things like that. Now, if you got police departments and you have these police officers getting off on these things, and I'm a racist cop, and I'm seeing them get off, what you think I'm gonna do when I get on the force? So I feel like
that's how it is.
So I feel like by
You
them
think
not
people
having,
just be like, oh, I can shoot me a free jungle bunny.
yeah,
Let me.
it's like that's
No
like
way.
that's like if you go to a job and everybody stealing out the cash register and they ain't getting a rep, you know, oh, I'm about to start this motherfucker too.
You'd have to point out a department that actually has multiple murders of the same have the behavior of doing the same thing. I don't think that's you, because you could point out there's police officers all throughout the United States of America. Just because an officer kills somebody in Seattle, and then the next day an officer kills somebody in Florida, and the next day an officer kills somebody in Oklahoma, that don't mean that cops just be out here killing. There's a lot more police interactions, a lot more deadly potential deadly interactions that cops go through that don't end up being that don't end up with someone being killed. So I don't think you can. I don't think it's common enough to deem it as an issue. Is what I'm saying, because like they're police. They gotta deal with dangerous things all of the time, and sometimes those dangerous things result in somebody being killed, and sometimes the officers being killed. Like, but it's not like it's common though. I don't think it's common enough to make it a problem. I think we're gonna put it
Which
at the
what do you mean?
forefront.
Like, what do you mean by like it's not common enough? Like,
I
what
don't
you
think
mean?
police officers kill people enough for it to be an issue.
You don't think police officers kill black people enough for it to be an issue?
This is why I don't, because I don't know anybody that was killed by the police. I'm
Just because you
31.
don't know, just because you don't know,
Do you know?
just because you don't know or we don't
Gerald, do
know,
you know?
but just because it's
Do
unfamiliar
I
to
know
We
us,
somebody
don't.
I don't
personally?
know nobody with
Yeah,
cancer.
like
I
family
don't know
members.
nobody with cancer, but cancer is killing millions of people every. I don't know nobody with cancer, but it's killing millions of people every
Yeah, you
year.
don't know everybody's health record either. I'm talking
You feel
about
me?
you.
So just
We
because
don't
we
know.
don't know it, don't mean it's
We
not a
don't know or
problem.
ever heard of anybody that we know of or heard of that was killed by the police. It's not common.
It's definitely
You
it's
can't name an
definitely an issue.
incident. When
It
was the
might not
last
be
time
common amongst us.
Tamir Rights was very rare? Nobody, like, we know Jay was in a situation where he was pointing a fake gun around. And what the cop do? They ain't shoot him. They kick the crap out of him. They ain't kill him though, because it's not common.
I disagree 100%.
Closing statements.
Hey, like I said, my apologies in regards to having a rocky start. I'm very satisfied with the ending of it. I was able to get a better connection. But yeah, beautiful dialogue from the team, man. But I do hope my brother gets some peace. Mr. Hinton, man. Hope my brother gets some peace and hope he's able to come to terms. With the tragic loss of his son. And I'm hoping he's able to heal from that, man. That was one of the main things that I wanted to touch on in this episode today. And it was a heartbreaking situation. But much love to Mr. Hinton. And yeah, I'm gonna just close off with that right there.
Gerald.
Fuck the police.
Look, the police union, they do good. It's not like they're just all completely evil. So we cannot pretend like they're just out to do bad. These dudes do a lot of good things. So I back the blue. I'm not gonna say if the police union.
Do you remember the shootout
In Cleveland,
Which one?
the cop was like, he feared for his life, but he ran up on top of the hood of the car and shot in the car.
Timothy Russell,
Like 50,
Timothy Russell
like
and
50
Melissa Williams.
times.
Timothy Russell
Yeah,
and
you
Melissa Williams.
you
I
feared
think it
for
was
your life, but
Timothy
you ran
Russell and
up.
Melissa Ford.
No, Timothy Russell, Melissa Williams. Like, we marched for that one. 137
It
shots.
wasn't Melissa Ford.
Melissa Ford is a video vixen.
You can what you right. You can
Swear
watch
to
it on
God.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Shout out
Yeah.
to yeah.
We marched for that. We was marching.
Yeah, I
We
remember.
had
No,
we
yeah,
wore
I don't know
red.
what. I don't
Yeah.
even know. I don't even know what Melissa Ford be in a video. I've never.
Yeah, Melissa Ford is
Where
a
the fuck did
video
Melissa
vixen.
Ford come from? Oh, okay. I
She on the
drive a
Joe
Ford.
Budden. I think she on the Joe Budden podcast right now. But yeah, that I know exactly what you're talking about, Jared. We actually marched for them two people, and that was crazy because it was like a long police chase. But yeah, you have incidents that happen like that where some cops get out of control, but the police officers, as bad as 10% of them are, I still think the 90% should be. You feel me? And it's just making me making up numbers. I still think that we should. I think all people should back the blue because better police officers, better communities. Um, and I mean, if they just be incompetent, if you want to call them incompetent at a large rate, I can't agree with you on that. I think most cops do the right thing. But in this situation, I don't think this cop was justified in the shooting an 18-year-old man. That was very unjustified. I do not think that was right, and I think he needs to pay for his actions, and whether that's through the court system or whether that's with God. And then I also hold the other cop responsible just a little bit for putting a battery in his back, saying he's got a gun. Maybe he meant to tell the cop to be careful. I don't think he was telling him to shoot him. But hey, man, you in these situations where things is happening so fast and you thinking about, you know what I'm saying, protecting yourself. And Jerald, you right on point. I think these cops would just be thinking about themselves a lot of the times because, you mean, they got families to go back home to. But in this situation, man, I'm just praying for the families involved. I'm praying for the cop that was innocent, that was and their family, and the Hinton family. And I'm just praying that the father, man, he can come to some kind of closure with this. But unfortunately, the eye for an eye thing, he got to deal with that, and his family has to suffer from his actions. And man, you live and you learn. But yeah, though, man, hey, great vibe, great vibe, great vibe. This is the House of War episode number 14. We live in effect. It's a show every night. Appreciate y'all. Good night, everybody.
Peace out.